Okay, guys, let's get started. So we were discussing about Spark in our previous session, wherein we've discussed about the commands that we use regularly in Spark, like the map, flat map, filter, reduce by key. So all these basic transformations are something that we have seen. Apart from that, we have seen the actions like collect, count, take, save as text, right? Some kind of basic actions are something that we have seen, right? Today, we will look at few more transformations that we apply on top of Spark. Then we'll discuss about the data frames using Spark, and then we'll discuss about the analytics that we use using Hive context. Okay, so before I go to this particular Hive context and data frames, let's look at a few more transformations that are available on top of PySpark. Okay, cool. So let me declare a normal variable just like numbers. I'm trying to declare a list here called numbers. Maybe I'll give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, something like 10. I'm giving a list probably having 10 numbers. So this is the list that I've declared. Because it is a variable, now I will have the option to have number of partitions. Maybe I wanted 3 partitions. I wanted this RDD to be split into 3 partitions. So what I can do is input equal to sc dot parallelize numbers comma 3, something like this. So what I've done is I've parallelized these numbers into 3 partitions. Maybe you can see how many partitions it has. Input dot get num partitions. It gives you 3 partitions that your input RDD is split into. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to write a simple method in this particular PySpark. What I wanted to do with that is I wanted to go to each and every partition. See, based on my experience, what I can tell is 3 partitions would be, this is one partition, this is another partition, and this is another partition, right? Because it simply does a hashing of your number of elements that are there in your list. So there are 10 elements, 10 divided by 3. So it will first distribute equal number of elements to each of the partition, and the last partition will get more number of elements or lesser number of elements. Which that's a common thing in your hash partitioning, like most of you should understand, right? People are just dialing in, it seems. Okay, let me repeat what I've just conveyed here for the benefit of everyone here. So what I've done is, so far, I've just declared a list called numbers. I've just passed on 10 elements to it. And then I've decided number of partitions that this list should have. I've decided to have 3 partitions. So what I've done is sc.parallelize numbers comma 3. I've stored it into an RDD called input, and just wanted to validate how many partitions this particular RDD got distributed into. It got distributed into 3 partitions, right? Now, rather than using lambda, I would like to write some definition. You know how to write a definition, right? Probably I'll write a definition called adder. Probably the input to it is something like iterator, anything you can declare here. And I would give a colon, and I would give a 2 way of indentation, 2 spaces in my indentation. What I wanted to do is yield sum of iterator. You'll understand the definition of it after I complete the calling of this particular definition, what is happening. What I'll do is input dot input dot, I'm going to use, just like map and flat map, there is something called map partitions, right? There is another transformation on top of Spark called map partition. I'm going to call that, and I'm going to call inside the map partition, I'm going to call my method called adder. So this is what I'm trying to do here. So probably if I want the output to be seen, I'll just use collect, which is an action. That's when your execution gets started. See here, what happened is I've got the output as 6, 15, 34. Let's go back and see what is this 6 and what is this 15 and what is this 34. What is 1 plus 2 plus 3? That is 6. What is 4 plus 5 plus 6? It is 15. What is 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10? It is 34. That means map partitions is a transformation that acts on every partition of your data. So every partition it had taken and passed it on to a function called adder. What does adder do? It takes the partition, it does a sum of it, and it will yield the result. Yield is nothing but like a return statement. It will yield the result for you of this sum of your partition, and that's what I got when I used collect. What I got is simple, sum of each partition. I hope this should make you or give you some clarity on map partitions. Map partitions is something that is similar to your map and flat map, but it applies your functionality on top of every individual partition. Is that clear, everyone? Or any questions on map partitions? Okay, I'll just wait here for 2 minutes to answer your queries. sc.parallelize. sc.parallelize is nothing but it is a kind of your parallelizing or making number of partitions desired for your RDB called numbers. Numbers is an RDB which you want to be split into 3 different partitions, because right, 3 different partitions is nothing but RDB is obviously split into different partitions, right? I'm deciding number of partitions to be 3. That's what sc.parallelize numbers, 3 will do. And map partition, see, maybe when you would be using this is, my data got split into multiple partitions, and what you are supposed to do is you wanted to apply your operation on top of every individual partition. Okay, so I wanted to apply my operation on top of every individual partition and get some output, right? So maybe that's an intermediate output or something, whatever it is. I don't want to apply on every partition, or I don't want to apply on every record. Rather, I wanted to go with partition basis. That's when I will be using map partition, right? Map and flat map. Flat map is going to apply on top of your entire data set and flatten the output. Map is going to work on record by record and give you the output. Map partition is going to work on partition of your RDB. Hope that gives you clarity, Mukesh. And add function. Add is just a functionality available in Python. It's not just about PySpark or anything. Add is a functionality. Okay, sorry. Where did I use add? Adder is a function that I've written in Python. It's nothing related to your PySpark or something. Here, def adder of iterator column. I've just named my function as adder. The input to it will be iterator, and every time this map partition will be calling this adder function for every partition, and what happens is it gives me the output for every partition individually. That's why I've got 6, 15, 32, 34, which is a list again. Clear? How do we name the column of the data set? How do we name the column of the data set? We will discuss about that in a while. I mean, probably if I have different columns in my data set, how do I name column 1 as something, column 2 as something, column 3 as something? That's what your question is, right, Latin? I'll discuss about that. So, any other questions, guys? Anyone who is not clear with this functionality? I'm slowly taking you to the actual core development of Spark, right? Application development of Spark. So I'm just introducing you with the basics. So that's about map partition. Can you confirm you are clear so far? Everyone here? Sachin, Makul, Mukesh, Syed, Lakshmi, LT, Lakan, Hemant, Dhruv, and Binoy. Can everyone confirm, please? Syed, I'm not able to unmute you because you've not joined the audio. Can you please join the audio and then raise the hand, please? Probably next time when I ask you questions, then I'll unmute you and go for your question. Okay? Now, you would hear about another term called accumulator. I'll tell you what is an accumulator. Accumulator is nothing but let me tell you how it works. Then okay, I'm declaring a variable called a equal to sc dot accumulator of 1, something like this I've declared. Now when I type a dot value, it gives me 1. Now a dot value equal to 2, right? And probably what I wanted to do is a plus equal to, I'm incrementing a equal to 5. So now a dot value equal to 7. So what happens with this accumulator is it's like an broadcast variable. It's like a variable that is available for all the executors. Maybe I'm applying some transformations on an RDD, which has probably which is being worked by 10 executors or something. At any point of time, an accumulator incremented by one executor, that value will be known to other executor as well. It's like an variable that is global. Maybe see here, I've simply declared sc dot accumulator of 1, right? Now I'll declare another RDD called input equal to sc dot parallelize, right? Sc dot parallelize maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, something like this. I'm declaring another input RDD, right? Now I'll write a simple function, def function of x, some basic function. I'm giving a 2-level indentation. 1, 2, global a. I'm just declaring an accumulator global to this particular function as well. Now a plus equal to x, right? I'm adding x to the a, right? Now what I'll do is input dot, I'm just calling another transformation called for each, right? And I'm calling this function called f for it. Here input is my RDD, so 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, which will be 6, 6 plus 4, 10. 10 should be added to this 7. Okay, let's see that. Because I'm adding x to a every time, so a dot value when I give 17. So what happened is I first declared accumulator a, which has a value of 1, then I've overridden it to 2. Now it has a value of 2. I've incremented that to 5. Incremented with 5. Now the value is 7. I have somehow used it in another functionality called function f, wherein I've added x to a. So what does x contain? For each, in my first iteration, 1 will be added to my a. In my second iteration, 2 will be added. Third iteration, 3 will be added. Fourth iteration, 4 will be added. Finally, it comes to value as 17. 7 plus 10. will be 17. So accumulators are something that you will be using something like, for example, you're trying to apply some transformations on an input file and you suddenly found bad records. Okay, suddenly found bad records. Maybe executor 1 found 4 bad records, executor 2 found 10 bad records. So total number of bad records are 14. So you are declaring an accumulator called bad records, which you will be incrementing regardless of what executor it is. Maybe executor 1 found 10 bad records, executor 2 found 30 bad records. It gets summed up. Totally 40 bad records you have when you are transforming an RTD. So I don't want to sum up at the end. Rather, I'll declare a variable that is common to all my executors, which does a sum of it. And finally, when I'm done with my execution, I get my accumulated value, which is my total number of bad records that are present in my input RTD. So that's how you would be using accumulator. Okay? I hope this is clear to every one of you. With this, I'm going to actual PySpark application development. I've given enough basic commands to you. Now I'll go and show you how do we execute how do we write some programs on top of PySpark and execute it and get the output, right? So now that we have practiced everything on a shell, now we will see how to write some applications and execute. Before that, any questions on what I've discussed on accumulator, anyone? It's simple, right? I mean, that's why I always recommend you to watch my Python videos before any Spark session. What I've done is simple. I've used a transformation called for each. For each is nothing but for every value of input, this function f will be called. Right? See here. For every value of input, RDD 1, 2, 3, 4, this function f will be called. And that in that function f, what am I trying to do? I'm adding x so that my a is always getting incremented. Right? Why did I declare global a? I'm trying to make it as a global variable. If you don't declare that, you'll not be able to use a inside this function because your what do I say? The particular validity of your a doesn't fit in this function. So if to make it valid inside the function, I'm declaring a as a global variable. Hope that clarifies your questions, right? Is for each similar to Java? Yes, of course. I mean, for each functionality is similar in all our all the programming languages. And Mukesh, I hope I've answered your question. And parallelize works again. How does parallelize works again? I mean, parallelize is nothing but Latin. Parallelize is something. If I use a parallelize of your RDD and then comma, if you specify number of partitions, it will parallelize it to those many number of partitions. If I don't give anything, it will parallelize it to a single partition. That's what it is. sc dot parallelize is nothing but sc dot parallelize of RDD comma number of partitions will parallelize your input RDD. Clear? And Syed, I still see you didn't join the audio. So, Lakan, I hope I have answered your question, right? Now, let's proceed a little further. Let's look at the application development of PySpark. I'm going to show you a couple of data sets and I'm going to do some kind of modifications on top of it. So let me go to $input part. Here I have two data sets. Join one file A, join to file B. So let me do a cat on file A.txt. And let me do a cat on file B.txt. Okay. I have to take this two simple data sets. And what I wanted to do is, I wanted to apply some join based on this. Some inner join based on this particular column. What this column is, it is nothing but Able, About, Burger is the name of the shows that are there. I mean, it's a show name, and 991, 11, 15 are the views. Okay. Similarly, the date it got telecasted, the channel name, and it is an probably kind of TRP rating or something. Let's say. So I have channel, number of views, I have a date, again the channel, I mean it's a program or channel, whatever you can call it as, and TRP rating, something like this. And what I would like to do is, I would like to join these two data sets, maybe based on this particular program name. That's what my aim is. But how do I join file A and file B? Because file B is kind of a different column, like your kind of and your channel name is there. So how do we join that? So let's write two functions: parse file A, parse file B. Right? Parsing file A and parsing file B is my first. Okay, I'll just make a note of this. Yeah. So here the data sets are put. So I have to write two functions. First one is probably I'm writing it here itself so that we can put it in my PySpark application. Parse file A, something like this. But before that, I have to load the data set. Probably I'll have to say it as file A equal to sc dot text file. Where is it present? The path of that will be what's the file name? Join one underscore file a dot txt, right? Join one underscore file a dot txt. This is the file that I'm loading into file A. Similarly, I'm going to load file B as well. Join one underscore file B dot txt. Two different RDDs are there, file A and file B. Now, what I'm trying to do is, I'm initially trying to parse my file A. So what I'll do is, I will probably declare a function called parse file A, line of, maybe I'll maintain two indentations. What I wanted to do is, I first take this data set called file A. What I wanted to do is, I wanted to split it based on comma separator. So line dot split of comma, and which goes to let me declare a particular list called columns. This is the columns variable, like my line whichever is split based on comma will go on city. Now here let me name the columns like Lakan had asked. Columns of 0 would be the channel name, and views is equal to columns of 1, because my 0th column, which is my first column, is channel, second column is my number of views, right? Now I would like to return these two as part of my output. Return channels comma views. That's it. My parsing file A is done. Similarly, I'll write another function called parse file B. I'll again split it based on comma. Columns 0 would be date and channel. This will be something like TRP or something. Okay. Columns of 1 will be TRP. Now, what I would like to do is date channel dot split of space, or if I use a simple split, it will automatically split it, and that will give me another transformed columns or something. I can name it as transformed columns. So what it has is this transformed columns. This transformed columns of 0 will be my channel, right? And transformed columns of 1 will be my something like a date or something. Okay, so what am I doing here? I'm trying to separate channels. Okay, I'm trying to separate channels so that I can probably join based on, I can join them based on my channel here. Okay, maybe I've just named it as channel. Okay, let me name it as channel. Okay, so what I would like to do is I would like to date TRP something like this equal to date plus, maybe I'll put a hyphen in between, plus what I'll do is what is the other thing, TRP. So this is my final thing. What I will return is channel comma date TRP. This is what I'm gonna return. So there you go. What I've done is finally I've made my channel and date TRP as two separate columns, so that when I join this and this, my problem is solved. Am I correct? Is this clear to everyone what I'm trying to do here, or any questions? Did the logic go wrong by any chance? Date channel columns of 0. Columns of 0 will be the date. Yeah, date channel will be the columns of 0. This will be TRP. That's correct. Date channel dot split. So yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Right now this should be correct. SLT, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to tell that data channel.
Yeah. Now this should work fine, right?
Yeah. Then there's another one. You put the AC dot parallel, AC dot text, and AC dot those comments accumulator and all. The AC is what is it like system?
It's a Spark context. That's what I told, right? For Spark, to enter into Spark application, the entry point is Spark context. When you log in into PySpark, the first thing that you will see is Spark context is available as SC. That's what we have seen in our, I've shown you, right? When we are talking about the previous commands, Spark context is available as SC.
Yeah, I saw that, but I was not.
That's an entry point. See, that's an object that you are creating to recognize this as an input RTP. What that RTP?
Okay, yeah.
This is as an RDD. When you load this input file using Spark context, which will be loaded as file A RDD. So Spark context is an entry point of your Spark.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So probably what I'll do is I'll take this particular functionalities. First, I'll parse the data. Let's see how the parsed data is looking. Then we will look at the joining the data sets. Now it's a cakewalk. Joining the data sets is the only final thing that is pending, which should be an cakewalk for us because we have done all the things. Let's first initially do it in do it in my shell. Then we will do it as an application. Okay. Maybe to show that to everyone what is Spark context, let me log out of this and then log in back. to show you what is the Spark context. Here, the first thing it showed me is Spark context available as SC, Hive context is available as SQL context. Though I'm not yet using Hive context, I'm only concentrating on Spark context right now. So what I'll do is, I'll first load this data sets as RDDs here. Yeah, I understand what is the problem with this. I have to tell whether it is in local file system or in HDFS. That's why sc dot invalid syntax file a equal to, yeah, that's the problem. For file B also I'll do the same thing. I'll put that in single quotes. So I've loaded file A and file B. Now what I'll do is I'll write this functionality. I mean, I'll copy paste this functionality. First of all, I'll copy paste this, right? And then I'll copy rest all lines one after the other. Okay, I'll have to type that one after the other. What's the problem here? 9 dot split. Yeah. So I shouldn't give it in. That's it. I'm trying to pass this particular file A. Now what I have to do is probably I will use a flat map. That's fine. Okay. What is this particular RDD name? Input RDD name is file A, right? File A dot of flat map of parse file A. Let's see how it works. Now probably I have to use collect method to execute this. Collect being an action, it executes, parses my file A and gives me the output. Yes, right. I've parsed this particular file A and this is what I'm looking at. Okay, that is fine. Now, similarly, what I wanted to do is I wanted to parse my file B. So the same mistakes I don't want to do. Put it in single quote marks and then okay, let's try this. Paste. It is throwing me some issue. Okay, let me do one after the other once again. Dates columns of one. Maybe it is not able to take this particular thing. Okay, let me try it in a different way. Then just give me a moment. Yes. The problem is, I will remove this particular date, comma, date hyphen PRP. You can use the single, something like this. Or, yeah, this should be fine, I hope. Let me type it once again. Yep, this is working fine. A single quotes with a hyphen should work fine. Okay. Now, what I'll try to do is same thing that we have seen, right? File B dot flat map of parse file B. So let's see how it works. Again, dot collect. It should parse my file B and should give me the output. Here, I got the output. Maybe rather than using the, if you don't want to use hyphen, you can use a different delimiter so that it differentiates these things. Okay, but fine. Now that I'm able to pass file B as well, now what my point is simple, right? I have to join file A and file B, right? But I have to do these things, right? Here, after applying the join, before applying the join, what I have to do is parse file A equal to file A dot flat map of parse file A. Similarly, parse file B equal to file B dot flat map of parse file B. Right? I have to store it in some RTD so that what I can do is parse file B dot join of parsed file A, something like this I can do, right? Maybe the last one I can use collect. I'm anticipating some issues here. Okay. First file A. Still the same issue. Okay. Let's check what it is. Parse file A. Okay. Issue. Just checking the code. Okay. What I've done is maybe I'll do a simple thing like rather than doing a flat map, let me do a map. Maybe that should help us because it is doing a flat map on all the records, right, individually rather than doing that. It is, when you leave the terminal empty, right, it's gonna clear the already used in memory. That's what's happening here. There you go. That's the problem. I mean, the first thing that came into my mind is when I looked at individual characters, right? Flat map is something that's going to flatten your output. So there is something fishy happening in our output. So I understood that it might be because of flat map. That's why I have changed it to map. Now, there you go. I'm able to join based on my channel. Because for able, there are two entries inside my file B. That's why I've got two entries here. Okay. So that's how it is. Right? So I hope everyone understands this because we have discussed each and every point. Why did this flat map didn't work is we know, right? The output, whatever you get, will be flattened. Will be flattened in a flat map. So that's the reason why I've got individual entries in my earlier output. So what I've done is I've just changed it to map so that every key value will be returned as it is. So that's how. That's again a learning here. I mean, we shouldn't use a flat map wherein your data will be flattened, where you are anticipating your results to be of in the form of key values. So in our earlier execution that didn't happen, so I've changed it to map. It worked fine. Now let's put that into a program. Probably I'll put that into a program of PySpark. Let me put it in join batch 26.py, some Python code. I'm just naming it as. The first thing that I have to do is from PySpark import Spark context, because in my shell Spark context is available ready-made as SC, but it will not be available in your Spark application. So I've just imported Spark context, and I have to create Spark context SC on my own. How I have to do is Spark context of right app name equal to some app application name. I'm just giving dataset join or something. I'm giving the application name as right. Now my all my statements works as is. Paste, right? But what I would like to do is probably I would like to convert my data into string, because I told you, right, when you don't want the data output to be in Unicode characters, you can convert that into whatever format you want. Maybe everything I wanted to convert it into string, something like this. str of channel int of views. Maybe I wanted this in an integer format, and then output channel. I want this to be in string. Again, this to be in string. There you go. Now, final OP, I'm just making it as final OP dot save as text file. Maybe I would like to store it in HDFS user Cloudera batch 26 Spark OP2 or something. So this is where I wanted to store my output as. Okay. Let me save this and spark hyphen submit and my application name. It should get executed. There is some problem. Non-ASCII character at line 6. What's that? Set list. Okay, I don't see the non-ASCII character. Set NU. 6th line. Yeah, because we didn't change this yet. Okay, this should change. Yeah, so it should execute and give you the output. And it should give you the output in your HDFS output path. It being a test cluster, it might take little time, but in production, it will be lightning fast. Okay, not sure. There isn't taking any issue with that. Failed, it had failed, it seems. That's the issue. Let me cancel it. Save as text find final output. I don't think there is an issue here. Mm, Let me first execute it. It is still unassigned. It is still not running gracefully, that's why. So, problem is just running it once again. Application report. But again, my Spark command line is working fine. I'll have to see what's the issue here. It's things, I mean, you could see here, right? I mean, it is not getting assigned to any containers. So it is not using anything. Let's wait. I mean, see here application as a dataset join. Why is it not getting submitted is something that we'll have to check. No, this is not the way. Spark hyphen submit a core name dataset. Maybe I'll change the application name from PySpark input Spark context, right? And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give the app name is equal to Spark context, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Join back 26.py. I mean, I don't see any issues over here so that I can work on it. Don't see any errors or warnings. Data accepted. Final status undefined. Maybe I'll have to restart this, I guess. I mean, I don't know. There is no issue and the application is not getting executed. That's same thing. See, PySpark shell is getting finished, but it is not assigned. I mean, undefined. The state is accepted, but it is not executing it. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll restart the cluster and try this. Then it should work fine. Let me figure out what would be the issue. I'll restart this particular Spark services. Let it run. Meanwhile, you have any questions? Yeah. Yes, LD, go ahead, please.
You did join the map, right? The map.
Correct.
You did join the canal, that field, right?
Correct.
Can you show me where you joined exactly?
Here. I mean, see, okay, you're asking me where did I apply join on the channel, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. See, what happens is when you are returning your columns, I mean, it's not like your regular RDBMS join. When your Spark join is there, you're emitting the output in key values. Here, I'm returning key comma value here.
Okay.
And key comma value. Join will be always applied on top of your key, I mean, which is your channel. So it's not like your regular RDBMS join, like join on this table on column condition. You don't give that, because what we do is, if it is a join, normal join, it's an inner join basically. If I want left outer join, I would have given something like left outer join, maybe right outer joins, and similarly right outer join, or full outer join, full outer join. But the join happens on top of your keys, right? So that's how your data sets would be joined. If I wanted to go with a complicated join, let's go with the data frame. I mean, there is a concept called data frames, which which I would be discussing in our night session, which basically works with applying the complicated joins, or you wanted to run some complicated queries on top of your file. That's when you go with a particular join called, a particular concept called data frames. But that is
Okay. So if here we have only one field as a key. So in case if I have multiple fields as a key, so we need to put similar to that.
I mean, that's when I told, right? That's when we go to the data frames.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking where I know you joined the channel. I didn't know that where you were joined the channel.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Got that.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. I'm just trying to. Oh, this the issue with okay. Now there is some issue here. Let me do one thing. Probably before tomorrow's session, I'll get this sorted out. Only thing I can do is I will restart my cluster. That should solve our problem. Let me give it a try. Right? Probably by before we join tomorrow's session, right? I mean tonight's session, which is at our regular timing. I'll try to get this issue fixed. There is some problem now. All of a sudden, yeah. Even I'm not able to log into my normal PySpark shell also. There is some issue. We will fix that. Okay. So meanwhile, I'll try to answer all your questions. I can see a few more questions here. Can you use a single quote? Sorry. Which single quote are you referring to, Makul? Why is okay? Can you use a single quote in SC Spark context? Did we use any single quotes here? Oh, you mean while declaring the application name? But that shouldn't be a problem, as far as I believe, because it should throw me an error or something. But your application itself is not getting submitted. Let it be for this thing also, it is not getting submitted. Let me see that what could be the issue. Yeah, I'll restart the cluster. That should work fine. I'll probably convey that by tomorrow's session. I mean tonight's session. Unmuted. Okay.
Surya, what are other applications of Spark transformations apart from text analytics or text mining?
What are other
Applications of these Spark transformations?
yeah, I'll tell you. See, I told you, right? I mean, when you are looking at Spark functionalities, that itself will answer you a lot of things. So you're just trying to do some Spark transformation. Maybe I have a file on top of which I wanted to do some analytics. I'll be using data frames. That means normal text analytics or text mining it. Maybe I have some tables on top of Hive, or probably on Hive or Impala. I would like to do some structured analytics. I can do that. Maybe while transforming the data, I would have brought the unstructured data to structured format. That means I'm structurizing the data. Maybe I wanted to have, I have some data, I wanted to do some machine learning on top of it. That's when I use MLIP functionalities of Spark. So it's like a Spark, there are many functionalities available. Anything you can do it on top of Spark. Probably the combination of text analytics, maybe unstructured data analytics, or maybe machine learning on top of your data. Anything that you wanted to do on top of your data, Spark is an option. Got that?
Yeah, but in transformations, you can do only text analytics and nothing else.
No, see, as of now, I've loaded only text data.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow I'm gonna show you how to load some JSON data.
Okay.
Maybe I will show you how to load some package file, which is the most popular file format right now. So it's about loading any format of the data here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Lakan, I didn't understand your question. Can you describe what it is? Oh, it's dropped off from the chat window. Okay, fine. Yeah. So probably when we come back tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to execute the applications. I'll just restart my cluster. I'll see if that is working. It should work basically, right? So that's it for now. When we come back tomorrow, I'm going to talk about these two things, right? Yeah. So Mukesh, you have a question or something? Go ahead, please.
Do we have lecture again at night?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean our regular time at 10 p.m. EST.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
10
Thanks.
p.m. or 9 p.m.
Sorry, 9 p.m. I'm absolutely sorry. 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. EST. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Binay, you can hold back. Rest all can drop off if you don't have any questions. Right. That's it for now, guys. Thank you. Good night. Bye bye. Binay, just give me 2 minutes. Meanwhile, others are dropping out. Oh, you wanted to ask question related to this thing? I thought you were asking me yesterday night, right? Something that you wanted to wait. Anything related to today's session, Binay?
Yeah. Actually, today's session is how you guys are handling the exceptions and debugging the tools whatever you are writing it on the inside. Suppose it is a programming way, then how it will be like exceptional.
See, you need exceptions you'll get to know, right? When you have some syntactical issues, anyways, your Spark will throw that particular issue straight forward, or when I'm talking about Python will straight forward throw the issue to you, so that way you can debug it. I mean, it's all about how what error your Spark is throwing. Based on that,
it's like programming kind of thing. Like suppose if any application is triggering some data issues or something like that, there is some mechanism usually we used to follow to log in and those kind of things. Is there any common standard or anything like that?
Please, in other programming languages, how do we handle exceptions? Because you know that maybe when you are doing some connectivity database that might fail or something. You have to. I mean, it's not similar to your Java. How do you handle the exceptions? But see, it's all about if that particular connectivity fail, you will throw an error saying that hey, this connection has failed due to this so and so error. You will catch hold of the error what it is throwing, and you will print that error in the print message. It's like how you handle issues in shell scripting. It will be in the similar line in Python. Okay, it's not specific to Spark as such. I'm talking in specific to Python. How you handle exceptions in Python, same applies to your Spark. But how do you handle exceptions in Python is when you're executing some command, did that command execute perfectly or not, tells whether your connectivity is good or not. I mean, that particular command had executed perfectly or not.
And is there any concept like count or something? I don't know actually. I was just going through the material, so that is something about count base which helps to debugging and all. Is that
count? I didn't get that question. What is that count?
Count is
count this. I didn't get that. I'm sorry, I'm not aware of it. I guess. Count the next. I was
can you point out? So I saw something about that. Something similar to helping the debugging mechanism and all. I don't know what level, like it's a high level or Hadoop level or Java programming level.
Okay, in the course content you're talking about.
Yeah.
So that's related to MapReduce. And again, see, that is a universal thing, right? It can be applied for your Spark or any other application. It's a universal thing. When you have some exceptions, how do you handle? It's something, see, I know that when I'm trying to connect to Hive, that connectivity might have failed. So what is the reason? I'll catch hold of the error and I'll print it to the user. Spark cannot do anything with those errors, right? It's in the same way how you handle normally, you have to handle that. Okay?
And like Hadoop or Hadoop, it's like suppose if it is admin something like that, Oracle used to give some admin kind of screens, like settings of that your namespace, those kind of things. Do you have a similar architecture or similar user friendly screens to set it up, those kind of, or do you need to follow all commands line, or how it will be like?
For a programmer, it's the command line that you usually follow. Queue is something. For example, if you wanted to run some queries on top of Hive or Impala or some kind of big commands you wanted to run on top of, you can use a web-based application called Queue. Okay. So, but the thing is, a programmer always does the programmer on top of command line rather than using a web-based application because that itself facilitates a lot of things. I mean, when you are using Queue, you are losing control over your job. And maybe for your ad hoc querying or something, you can use Queue or something, but programmer primarily uses only the command line.
Okay. No, no, actually, since I'm new to this and
That's what I'm saying. You have to equip this command line. That's the only thing you have to do then. Because being a programmer,
I am from the Oracle background, so I just know the data housing and those kind of concepts. So I'm just matching with always how I can easily utilize and how to be correlated. That's the reason I asked actually.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. And what about that? Actually, that while initially we are setting up Hadoop, right? Some kind of setup modes, right? Like you were talking about local and sudo and something distributed.
Distributed pseudo and standalone. So what we are using is pseudo mode, and there is another mode called distributed, which you usually run in top of or run. I told the difference, right? I mean, I have a thing running all the
no, no, I'm talking about like while we are installing it, we used to go for local mode, right? That's what you were telling something, right?
No. We were using pseudo mode, not the local mode.
But in most of the company they will use it in distributed mode, something
distributed mode, because they'll have multiple data nodes, right? So,
but development and all, we used to do in pseudo mode. Most of the development was kind of thing, right?
Even the development will be done on top of. I would say the development will be done on top of distributed only when you are working on top of a production cluster. I mean, in real time you would use distributed because you'll have multiple nodes. That's the simple thing. Remind. Okay.
And I would like to take some certifications on anything related to SQL kind of things, like similar like Hive or which is related to data warehouse something, because that is the only thing I initially I can just go and spend more time.
No. There is no component specific certifications as such. It is wholeheartedly related to your Hadoop. You'll have for entire Hadoop you'll have the certification. Okay.
Oh, okay. So only one certificate. How would be like entry level or some?
I'll tell you about those certifications. Let me complete the components, right? Then I'll give a brief overview of all the certifications.
That makes more sense. Okay, that's fine to me.
I'll be covering that later on.
And I saw your mail actually. Do I need to set up that, just import the settings actually? How will be like talking about installation?
Yeah, installation here. CDH5 we can start working on it, right?
CDH5 means how it will be like.
No, I didn't get your question. What was your mail about?
No, I'm talking about my Hadoop installation VMware.
Okay.
So what happened like first time initially I installed VMware, then what happened like my memory space is like only 10 GB or something like that. So again I reinstalled everything. So that time after that I'm not able to set up properly. Like I just go through your document what you gave to me about the installation guide.
That should install, right? That should install your cluster. I don't know what problem you are referring to here.
Okay. Right now, what is
sorry, what was that?
Right now, what is the problem I am facing in that you provided one document called pseudo installation on Ubuntu, right? So I'm facing the issue with the around 6 steps actually. I mean 5 steps actually.
You can drop me an email with the screenshot, That should, I can help you out with that.
Oh, okay. So, but you said something about that some configuration file or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I sent it to everyone, right?
Yeah, right. Is there? I thought like something related to me, like which I can able to do it actually. So do you have any full installation anywhere? I mean the cloud or somewhere you can easily download it and set up everything. Because yesterday we were talking about something
Yeah,
about
that's what, right? I mean, we are already doing the full installation here. You are trying to download some CDH5 component from Cloudera downloads, and you're uploading it into your VM workstation or something. You got that? I mean, VM workstation.
Time actually 20 to 50 minutes or something. Just look into. I can share my desktop. I'm just spending more time on that actually to set up the installation.
So what's the issue? You tell me the issue, then I can help you out. What is the issue?
Okay, I'll tell you that actually. The issue is like I'm not able to see. The, I'm just opening my desktop actually. So what is the problem I'm facing?
I mean, let me make you as a presenter. Just show me what's the issue.
So now you are able to see, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I just go through this thing, CD installed it, and from here I installed data node, this tracker also the 4 steps. You are able to see my desktop and the same document that you shared, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and I installed this one, but from here I just edited that bash file actually, bash rc file actually. And from here, I'm not able to continue actually. I'm not able to see the path actually. That is the place I'm facing the issue.
That's what I'm asking. What is the issue you're facing?
Okay.
But you can straightforward use CDH3, right? I mean, CDH5 or something you can download and use it. I mean, meanwhile,
I didn't get it. What is
I mean, just see, whatever I'm using is a sudo mode already installed cluster, right? So what you have to do is you have to download the VM image, and you have to install it on top of your VM workstation. Look at our previous videos or something that will give you a better picture how to do the installation. But here, what is the issue? You can show me the issue that you are facing in this.
No, I want to set up the VAPC actually. I thought like this is the way we are actually, and I was going through the videos like session 8 and which you explained about the session. I thought this is the place to install it actually. It's like a startup actually.
No, actually there is another way of doing it. Probably you might have missed those sessions or something. Probably I'll check which session it is, and I'll send you the video name.
Oh, then that should be good actually. If it is, can you go and do it today because Saturday and Sunday I can spend more time on that.
Yeah. See, just before MapReduce session, right? That will be there. Go ahead. I mean, just you will also check that before MapReduce.
Yeah, I'll check it actually. I used to I just go through now what I'm doing actually. I'm just collecting all videos now, and because I'm not familiar a lot.
If you are losing the track of the session, you'll never come back. So I mean, now that we are almost at the 32nd session, now we are talking about some pulse session or something. So that means you are not tracked for the almost like 20 days. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. You're
right. I'll tell you one thing. Which video it is, I'll tell you probably tomorrow morning or something, my morning. Then you can have a look at it and come back.
Right? Okay, then that should be.
No. Yeah. Yeah, guys. I mean, Dhruv, you just send me the screen in front of what the issue is when you are installing, what issue you are facing. Then I'll talk about that. Okay. Anyone else has any questions? I could see still Lakan there. Lakan, you wanted to ask something? Okay. Fine then. Thanks everyone. Bye. And I'll just check and I'll let you know which video it is. You can use that for your reference.